So I've been having a lot of conversations with different folks about imposter syndrome. And so I figured today we could just talk about that a little bit. And if you haven't ever experienced it, first off, you're very lucky because imposter syndrome is really that inner critic in our heads, the voice that kind of whispers to us that we don't belong, that we don't know what we're talking about, that we're kind of faking it till we make it, and eventually like the world will figure out that we have no clue what we're doing and basically call us out for being the fraud that we are. But if you're someone who does deal with this every now and then, you're not alone. I deal with it on a very consistent basis, actually. But there are some strategies that you can use to maybe not overcome it necessarily, but to help manage the voices in your head and that inner critic and the overall imposter syndrome kind of feeling. So the first thing you have to do is recognize when it's happening and call it out for what it is, which is basically complete nonsense. You are capable, you do know what you're talking about. And so anytime you notice having that thought or feeling or just general sense of, heck, I'm faking it right now, just stop in that moment and call it out. And even like if you have to tell yourself like, this is imposter syndrome speaking, this is not the truth, that really can help you start to manage it a little bit easier. And then what you need to do is just reframe it. So whatever that negative thought is occurring in your head, like, for instance, like when I'm recording a video, there are times where I worry that the audience, my viewers, might figure out that I actually have no idea what I'm talking about. So instead of thinking that, I just shift my focus and say, I do know what I'm talking about. There's a whole reason why I'm doing this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. Like, I constantly have to like hype myself up so that I can confidently portray the topics that I do know my stuff about. It's just the imposter syndrome that's telling me these lies that I don't know what I'm talking about when I actually do, because I wouldn't have these ideas in my mind to talk about if I didn't know what I'm talking about. And I just said talk about a lot, but you get the idea. And then my other recommendation is to just talk about imposter syndrome when you're feeling it. Talk about it with your friends, your family, a trusted confidant, someone that you can relate to, but also someone that can help you reframe your thoughts and tell you the truth about what they see in you. Sometimes we really just need someone else to give us that boost of confidence that we need to move forward in whatever we're doing, because they see a lot of things in us that we may not see in ourselves. So don't hesitate to talk about it. I think that's what hinders us a little bit for those of us that experience imposter syndrome, because we almost don't want to like rat ourselves out to someone to be like, hey, I don't think I actually know what I'm talking about, but here I am. When in reality, that's how imposter syndrome feeds itself, is on that kind of solitude and that loneliness. But when you start speaking the truth and talking about it with others, that helps you to realize all the accomplishments that you have made, all the evidence that stacks up for you, like in your favor. And that really starts to put aside that imposter syndrome and that inner critic in your head just a little bit more each time. So that way you can overcome it a little easier and easier every time it does pop up. So just remember that you are capable, you are worthy, and you belong to be exactly where you are in this moment. Happy Focus Friday.